But he won't let me go in there either.
We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence, so if you would take a look at the flag, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we will start with public comments concerning the agenda. So I want to start with visitors requesting permission to address the board. Just a couple rules here that we need to follow as the meeting goes forward. Visitors requesting permission to address the board on a specific agenda item other than consent items should register their intention to participate in the public portion upon arrival at the meeting. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and will be requested to preface their comments by an announcement of their name, address, and the agenda item to which they wish to address. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes of duration. This duration time limit of 15 minutes of any specific agenda item. Visitors are asked to restrict their appearance to one appearance item only. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members individually. Per board policy, personnel issues will not be addressed. Concerns about individual issues of the district shall be brought to the superintendent or designee. So with that being said, we've got a list of people who've signed in tonight to speak about public items here. Once we get to those items, we will ask you to come to the podium and I'll just take your name and address before you start. We do have one question, Mr. Zach Brown. What agenda item are you actually addressing?
It'll be transgender.
All right, thank you. So first thing we need to do tonight, I need to get a motion to approve the amended agenda.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor of the approved amended agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, moving forward, the approval of the minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes for the April 10th, 2023 regular meeting and an approval for the April 10th, 2023 work session.
Second.
All right, any discussion on the approval of the minutes? Okay. All in favor of the approval of the minutes from April 10th, 2023 for the regular meeting and work session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, we have reports here. We will start with the superintendent's report. Mrs. Circle, you have the floor.
Thank you. Sorry, got several of these. One thing I did want to add that's not on here because I found out about this. Lifeline is going to be here, what is it, Thursday?
Thursday.
Okay, so because our community is really good about, they see police here or something, then they, kind of call everyone and say what's going on. Lifeline will actually be on our campus on Thursday. They are giving a tour and talking to our CNA class. So please do not get upset when you see Lifeline here Thursday. Okay, so good to know. First item is the 24-25 proposed calendar. And the process, just to remind everybody, the calendar committee sat down, we had several meetings. This is our proposed calendar. We will post this after the meeting online. It will be on our website and so that we can get public comment. And then we will bring this back around October and actually go ahead and approve it. We will meet with the calendar committee again before doing approval, and we'll go over any of the comments and suggestions. So, just wanted to let everybody know. The next item is the bond update. I want to say that was Mr. Meyer, maybe possibly, Mr. Meyer asked for a bond update. You have two documents in here. One is the actual, spending, the yellow means that it's actually come out of our account. And then I gave you a very detailed list of everything that we have done so far. The top part of that was the 2022 spending, and then the 2023 spending is below. And it has even with board month has been approved, et cetera. This does need to be spent by the end of this year. So the suggestion we are doing for this year, all the crack refilling that we've done, sidewalks, which are in horrible shape, that is planned, that's on this board agenda. Roofing is another thing that we are looking at doing, and I'm gonna talk about that in a later part of my board agenda. The carpeting and flooring, which you have already approved. We talked about the football field LED new possibilities, so I have that on there as an estimated. I gave each of the building administrators some money for any improvements in construction. So the board approved many of those things, and some of them are going to be tonight. The cage for the robotics, that was board approved back in February. The electricity was board approved back in March, and boiler repair was approved in April. So, as you can see, the remainder on there, and then there's some other wish lists. But we're coming pretty close to that now. Any questions about the bond? The next thing is, I just wanted to give you very quickly the estimated state funding for the legislation. So I gave you the report. You will notice that it has enrollment declining, so that number kind of changes. Didn't go up a whole lot with the state funding. So,
What is complexity index mean?
it's the index that they use based on, it's a very, believe it or not, it's an extremely complicated formula. They had us doing it in the workshop, and it has to do with, like, your free and reduced, has to do with, your honors diploma. It literally takes and goes, the child's free and reduced and taking honors diploma, you get a certain percent. And if it's EL, and they are honors diploma, then you get a certain percent. So it's literally breaks down our smaller populations, and if they get, CT or honors diploma, then you get like kind of a bonus point.
Expand it to be.
Yeah, or, and also with the diploma type, so it's looking at those areas that we know as a state that we don't do very well with, and so we get away from this.
Does this include the projection of what the state has passed for us to be receiving? Is that in, right?
That's what this is.
Yeah.
Again, it's an estimate. They messed with our enrollment numbers, so we gotta take that into account. But I wanted to go ahead and let you see it. It just came out. Okay, update on moving the 2 kindergarten classrooms and developing pre-K. Sent you a detailed letter on the proposal on that. We sat down with Mr. Strebeck, and I can let him talk more about this. Do you wanna talk about the many meetings we had on deciding with the transportation piece? As he's coming up here, I will preface this with, and I will read this first couple paragraphs and be slow. I'm gonna give, you have this.
I appreciate that.
You do have it, you don't have it?
I don't know.
Okay, well, you'll get it.
I may.
You will get it.
Maybe in that really thick packet
Yeah,
that
it's
you
in your
sent me.
very quick
Yeah,
packet,
yeah.
But I'll make sure you have it tonight.
I downloaded it, I just didn't read everything.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I can start off. Do you guys have any questions about the materials you got? Any of the maps? If you have any questions about those before I start going through?
I mean, basically, right now, it's just a projection, right? for
Yes, this is all
until
projected. What we have enrolled to this point, what we're trying to do is
have the students on the bus the least amount of time. So our country kids, we hope, the numbers will be sufficient to fill Delphi. So they're not on the bus more than, none of our routes are over an hour, most of them are about 45 minutes or less. So the hope is to bring all the country students into Delphi, and then all the Delphi students or students that live in the country going to Delphi daycares, and then the Camden students will go out to camp. So they'll spend the least amount of time on the bus. Even with right into school, 5 minutes, and then 10 or 15 to Camden, they're on the bus less time than the country students. We do have some parents that have called and asked if they're willing to drive to Camden. Is that okay in the country? And I said yes, because we're gonna, right now, we tentatively, we have 24, maybe 25 now, 25 students that we know are in Delphi, kindergartners, and there are 11 in Camden. Camden numbers probably won't change much, but Delphi numbers could, especially, like I say, with the Learning Tree daycare and all the different daycares, we could end up with more students that aren't truly in the city, but would be picked up in the city.
Don't talk about country, you're talking more south of the school and west.
West,
Right.
correct.
Okay. Not the country out around
Yes.
Burroughs or
If we need more students at Camden, ideally, Nathan Wilson, bus 4, he goes right, he's right there on 500, it would be nothing for him to drop students at Camden. We would have to arrange for an interventionist or somebody to be there to watch them until 8 o'clock. Melissa Jones is Burroughs area, Nathan's Rockfield, Melissa's Burroughs, Jerry Sparks is east of Camden. We could, even if we needed the numbers, have Beulah, she's east, she's east of Florida and comes through there, that she could drop her students there on their way in. Tentatively, we have not secured a person to drive them yet, but our plan is, we've got 6, 7 if we count West Delphi and Pittsburgh, that's bus 17. We'll have 7 buses, that way immediately pull in down at the elementary, and the bus that's gonna take the kids to Camden will offload all of their folks. But everybody else will just offload their kindergartners, they could get on the bus, and they could leave by 7:45 instead of waiting till 8 o'clock. Now, people that bring their students in will have to adjust for that, and most likely hopefully they'll be a part of the Delphi train. But if not, they're gonna have to be here 15, 20 minutes earlier than they're used to. So the routes that I've talked about, most likely probably Beulah, I left out Dan Fisher. He hits the southwest corner of Camden and then 350, and works his way back in. But then we've got Doris Archer, bus 1, Cindy Muse, bus 27 on the south side of town. And then we've got Kathy O'Malley, bus 28. We have Angie Jackson, bus 29. And Angie Camp, bus 20. We could all run the west and northwest part of Carroll County that would bring their students in to Delphi to be here in those kindergarten classes. That's our tentative plan. And again, we probably only got half the enrollment. We can only take them as soon as they enroll. So, we can only plot them out. But those maps have the students plotted out in their areas and in the towns. And so again, if we need larger numbers at Camden, which we should, we can use Nathan Wilson, bus 4, Melissa Jones, 26, and Jerry Sparks, bus 11. 16, if they have to have any right there on the southwest corner of Camden, could also do the same thing. But we are gonna need an interventionist or somebody up there at Camden to watch them early, because we can't drop them off there at 1:45 and be down here and have these kids ready to go. Got it pretty well mapped out. I know there'll be some glitches and some bugs that we can work with. I've got good drivers, and they'll look out and improvise.
I think the biggest piece is everyone just assumed that the child's right here at Delphi, that's on that, he's gonna be on Delphi.
Yeah.
But the entire purpose of this one, I'd say probably my biggest concern was the fact that kids on buses for over an hour and a half. So what makes most sense is the south and west that are so far away, they go to Delphi Elementary. And then our Delphi, City of Delphi kids, then it's a short jaunt over there.
No Delphi student, even bus 17, will be on the bus for more than 10 minutes. Where Doris Archer starts picking up at 6:30, Melissa Jones starts picking up at 6:30. So if those kids only had to go into Camden, they would love that. And they wouldn't have to come all the way to Delphi to go back out.
This is still maintaining the class sizes, so that's the other piece. In my letter specifically, it will address that if you want your child to go to Camden, and they're scheduled to go to Delphi, then you may do that if you want to travel. And then we'll have a wait list it the other way, because we have 2 classes at the elementary. So we're keeping those class sizes what we got.
I apologize, I left out bus 7. She runs the north part of the county, up Carrollton Road.
So Ross, if, in this circle, so if I lived out here in Madison, I did want my child to go to Camden, actually I'd have 2 choices, bring them in like a walker, right, they could jump on there,
Right.
or,
But they'd have to be here 20 minutes.
right, they gotta be here, or they gotta
They
take
gotta
one.
take them all the way to Camden. Yes, the number that we're gonna need out there, if every student came in here first, we could take them on one bus.
Right.
Because kindergartners are not required to wear seatbelts. That's the other thing, down the road, that'll save us money, because we don't have to order new buses with, 36 seatbelts in them, that's just more expensive.
We do have a public comment.
Yeah, Pam, my near is on the list. Do you wish to speak?
Sure.
Please, come to the podium, Ross. I think we're done with you.
All right.
Thanks, Ross.
State your name and address, and then,
My name is Pam Minero. I live in Delphi. Taught at Camden for 30-plus years. In the beginning, it was my understanding that the reason this was happening was for special ed students to receive more services at Delphi. Is that correct?
It does have that,
Okay.
yes.
So we have 2 special ed teachers at Camden. Why do we need to disrupt a well-oiled machine of kindergarten just to do that? Yes, one has a caseload of about 13, I think, and one has a caseload of 5. So you gotta look, why do all this transportation and all this for, when we have the teachers already out there. So it has my heart, and to solve the bus problem, maybe, have Camden have their own buses. And they would all be in to school.
thank you.
Mhm.
Any additional?
Yeah, does the board have any other information?
Can I answer any of that? I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Thanks, Ross, for what you've done.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for what you've done. I know it takes a lot of time to get this put
No, I
together.
didn't know if I could answer her question, or just shut my mouth. Just say shut up, I'm okay.
Thank you, Ross. Okay, sorry, I totally, okay, future needs. So as we're looking forward, we need to continually have a roof replacement plan. So I did give you an entire packet of things that are gonna be a need coming up. Right, so I just feel like it's one of those things we need to keep rotating this rather than have everything hit at one time. So I give you a packet of that. That's something that we need to look at, and we'll actually have Baker Tilly coming in the June board meeting to talk about this, but we're gonna need to be doing some sections at a time on that elementary. Okay. So, any questions on that? I gave you the whole packet, and we're.
Was the elementary school the one that was next on our plan to help? I thought it was.
But you also gotta remember, we're back about the 12th year, we said every 4 years sectioned out here between high school and middle school. We just finished the middle school, like came on the board, I think Chris, they done the school theater section, I believe, so I mean, that's in the next 2 to 3 years, probably we need to be looking at it. So, not that we have to do anything, but it needs to be inspected, planned.
And you'll see later on, I've got in the bond, two of the areas that we're most concerned about, we're gonna actually put on the bond list. And then, update from the safety committee, Mr. Long?
Yeah. Way back here, sorry. At our last district, safety committee meeting, we, met, Mike Fincher was there, the Carroll County Emergency Management, Director. We planned some things for the summer with him, as well as shared our safety plans and procedures with him, for him to kind of go over and see if there's any holes that we're missing, because we're only looking through it through the lens of a school, and from educators, so get an outside person who's trained in that to do that as well. A panic button update, Mr. Bernhardt, Officer Bernhardt and I have been meeting with Chris Sabo, which he kind of comes and helps if something's wrong with ours. He comes and updates that. We have found, we are glad that we have started to kind of test this, and we accidentally had the test over spring break, because it did put up some red flags that are getting fixed, from the mapping of the buttons to better communication to the dispatch and things of that nature. So it's still a work in progress. He has to go up his chain a little bit. He found some kinks in their armor too, when this happened. And so they're still working with us on that to get that to where if the button's hit, we know exactly where it's at, and as well as the outside agencies. We completed our lockdown drill on 4/14, which we then compiled some safety issues that we need to address this summer, from speaker systems to some classes can't hear them and things of that nature. Also brought up in the meeting about having our local agencies have access to our cameras. So if something were to happen, that they'd be able to just jump on and see inside our building. That was brought up, and we were working on to make sure we get that, either if it is working or to get it to work that way as well. I will have to say our students and staff did an excellent job. It was eerie to walk through our building when I knew there was every single kid and staff member here, and you could not hear any of them. So I applaud our staff members, as well as our students, because they did an excellent job of taking the drill serious, so that we could, make adjustments if we have to and see where the need was for that. We also discussed reviewing and aligning our building safety manuals this summer. They needed updated badly. I've worked on updating this building. Over the summer, I'll work with Mr. Hawk for the 2 elementaries. Each building will have a safety manual, which will resemble each other, same verbiage, using standard response protocol for that. So that'll be a kind of a summer project to make sure we have all our manuals aligned. Summer plans, this was our last district meeting. We will meet with the county agencies and Carroll schools for our annual Carroll County emergency meeting. That is, he just scheduled it, I believe June 1st. We also are going to, with Officer Bernhardt and myself and Mr. Sims, welcome in our local agencies from Carroll County Police, Sheriff to the City Police. We have a lot of new turnover since the last time a lot of these gentlemen or females, either one, have been into our buildings. And a lot of them didn't go to school at either Carroll or here. So to get them familiar with our schools, give us, again, another lens other than an educator's lens of what we can do to become a safer building. In June, we'll have a safety building audit, which each administrator will have a list of things that they're touring their school to look for. They'll check them off as being, good, or there's a concern, stuff that needs fixed. This happens in June, so that hopefully we can get the major concerns fixed in July before the students come back to school. We also do that audit then in December before we leave for Christmas break, so that we can get those things fixed for those 2 weeks while kids are out. So it's a 2-year audit that we do ourselves in-house. And then with that, after the audit, we'll compile those safety issues and then send them to maintenance and Ms. Circle to see which ones we need to really focus on and which ones we can put on the back burner until we can get to. And then also, standard response protocol has been updated in 21. So we need to update our signage for around all the buildings, and also so that we're speaking the same language to all the kids, so that they're getting taught it. The elementary school and coming up and still understand what a lockdown, secure, hold, all that stuff is, so it's uniform across the board. So, any questions?
I don't have a question, I just wanted to thank you and everyone that's involved in that, 'cause I know safety's important to the parents and everyone around here, so, we're just happy that continues.
Thank you very much.
I apologize, we have one other person that wrote down their name, and we don't have an agenda item, and Alex S., can you let me know what agenda item you'd like to speak about? If you still do? Okay, then I will mark Alex off the list. All right.
Mr. Jack Allen.
How you doing? Thanks for having me. Appreciate you giving me time. I just want to give a quick update on the advanced manufacturing class and welding. We finally got all of our equipment in, so that's a big plus. The electric got ran as of last week, so all of that is buttoned up. We have our 7 Mitsubishi trainers hooked up right now. We just have to hook up the computers to it and install the software. They're going to be ready to rock and roll. Our robotic arms, I just have to slide those back in place and anchor them down and then fix them in with the cage. After school's out, I'm going to have a couple students help me that are in my industrial maintenance class, so they can kind of get some hands-on. And then after that, we have to just button up some of the walls there inside, just make it kind of more official as a classroom. But everything's running very smoothly. It's kind of been a slow battle with delays as far as getting some of the components that we need, but shipping issues, I'm sure you guys are all aware of that. Also, I want to thank Mr. Jeff Norris for helping me out, kind of getting everything situated. He's been a big help as far as this goes, getting some of the equipment donated and that stuff. So I encourage all of you guys to come back there and look, because it actually starting to look pretty cool back there as far as equipment goes. And then also with my welding class, 11 kids last week took certification to get 3G and 4G certified. It is very hard to get. The pass rate's about 20%. I had 4 students make the final inspection, but they were about a 16th inch too high. So I have the instructor coming back to test them again on the 18th. So hopefully we can get 1 or 2 that can be certified. It's a big deal for the kids that they can earn some pretty good money right out of high school, and kind of gives them just an extra initiative to take that on. So, anybody got any questions?
Went to robotics class this year. How many students did you actually have in that?
Total 27.
So were they able to do much?
I got some little robots that we're actually programming right now and coding. I set up a track, so they have to drive the track. It's been kind of challenging for them, but they're learning quite a bit. When we test on the 22nd and 23rd, also I'd encourage someone to come back there and look, because it's pretty neat to see them do it. But yeah, that's what we're doing now. We've kind of had a lot of book work, kind of going over a few things while we were waiting on this equipment. And we kind of did a couple of other hands-on projects. But yeah, other than that, yeah, we've next year we'll actually be able to put everything in place and kind of get them to what they need to be learning. But Yeah, with the little robots that we have, you can kind of do all kinds of stuff with that. Program them, you can put different blocks in different order, so you can make them drive all over the place. But yeah, it's pretty exciting for them to kind of sit down there and actually work on things and understand what they're doing, so.
You said on the 22nd and 23rd, you have what, testing?
Yes.
So is that when people see a lot of what's going on?
Yes.
Are any local manufacturers or factories aware of what you're trying to do to get these?
Yes, SIA has been a big partner with us. Packers, obviously, because they're so local. I've actually got a kid that's going to be interning there this summer. I've got another student that's interning with Gaylord Electric this summer. And I'm kind of trying to get another partnership with the local Carpenters Union out of Lafayette. So yeah, a lot of hands-on stuff and a lot of them trying to push the kids towards a lot of different things, so.
So, Mr. Allen, tell me, I always had the opportunity to come in and see, and you were actually doing something, building for some community members, or?
We were building a couple of stands for Mr. Walker's class.
Okay.
Also a couple stands for myself, and then also for the hardware store downtown. So we were trying to do things like that. Also, some of the kids, one of the kids built a huge trailer all by hand. He cut the pieces down himself, welded it all. It's very, very cool to see. Did an excellent job on that. But yeah, some of the projects are pretty cool. They turned out really well. One of our students is making a planter out of just a 55-gallon drum. So yeah, it's pretty neat to see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Dennison? Fine Arts Pathway?
Well, good evening. I'm here to present a fine arts pathway for graduation at the high school level. If you've seen in the news, this is the pathway that was approved for Lafayette Jeff. That's a couple weeks ago. I'm so thankful to the guidance department. We've tried, ever since pathways have become a thing, we've tried to get the fine arts as a graduation pathway to so that our high school students can get credit for what they're already doing and actually get graduation credit for that. It's been a lengthy process. It's been an in-depth process. I've come to find out how lucky we are in our community to have what we have, because it makes our partnerships easier. So the things that it entails is fine arts through theater, with a partnership with the Red Brick Theater in town, and the library, partnership with the library, partnership with the art gallery in town, partnership with the dance studio in town, and then also a partnership with the Opera House, all of which we have had a partnership with for a long-standing time. We're just looking to get the high school kids to actually get credit for doing all of that. Also a part of that is our AP Music Theory class that we offer college credit for. So that is another partnership that we do. A partnership with IUK that offers music classes through the summer, through summer band and summer performance opportunities. So I feel as if we have been doing this for a long time. We're now just looking for the credit that we've been doing for all this time and giving our kids actually a graduation pathway to do that. So we had a deadline of April to submit that to the DOE. And again, I thank our guidance department for pointing me in the right direction. And now we're looking for approval for that pathway, and hopefully our students can get started right away in graduating with a fine arts diploma from here, from Delphi.
Mr. Dennison, you could put a number, once we get the credit, which
Right.
gotta be positive, right?
Right.
What percent of like students kind of go through the fine arts part, or touches that, right? I mean,
Yeah,
would you say 25?
I really
50%?
would. I really would. 25 or up to 30,
Okay.
honestly. The amount of students that are currently enrolled in not only our music classes, but our 2D art, 3D art, absolutely. I think we have a large number of students that are involved in the fine arts, that, you know, finally this is something that they could get graduation credit for. I think it's something that's long overdue, and I think, as you've seen through the news, other schools are finally coming around. I think it's something that we should be a part of. I really do.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
My daughter could have used more.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Jay,
Okay,
write it, approve for DOE.
Mr. Circle's report is
Yeah,
done.
after this.
We will move
After
forward
it's
with
approved
the
here.
administrative
Oh, these
report.
guys have to approve it?
So
Yeah, let's
you were
move down to
provided your
DOE, that's
packet
already
for,
been submitted.
all of the schools,
Okay.
special eds
I
and
don't know what that
athletics.
is.
Kind of the next process.
Does
Okay.
anyone have any questions on those reports? Great. All right, we will move forward to routine matters. So we have several things here that I will be looking for a motion for. We will go through a group of them here. So we will start with 4A, consent items, monthly and payroll claims in the amount of $1,249,928.51. Also, the approval of the monthly financial reports as submitted by the treasurer. 4B, we have the employment of certified staff, so we have 4 new certified staff to be employed here. 4C, the employment of classified staff. We've got 6 on the list here for the employment of classified staff. 4D, the employment of ECA staff, so we have 1 member there. Then 4E, we have resignations, terminations, and/or retirements. So we have several on that list there. And then also 4F, fundraisers for faculty usage requirements. So I'll go through these real quick. We have DCMS and HS 8th through 12th grade basketball. It's at Fort Wayne. We have the DCMS students going to Washington, D.C. That'll be June of 2024. The DCHS football will be going to Taylor University for football camp. That is in June 28th through the 30th. There's also a whitewater rafting trip for the FFA to Tennessee. That'll be July 1st through the 3rd. The DCHS students' trip to Spain to explore sites and history. That will be March of 2024. Also, the DCHS band, the pizza and cookie dough fundraiser, proceeds go to the band trips. Looks like they're trying to raise about $2,500 for that. And as well as the DCHS band dinner theater, they're going to use those proceeds for the band trip as well. Looking to gain hopefully about $2,000. That'll be in March 15th. So, I'd like to get a motion for those items.
I move we approve routine matters, items A through F, as presented.
Second. Okay. I know there's a lot of items there. Is there any discussion from the board on this?
I have one. Get to the right page here. Under our employment of classified staff, since we're moving our kindergarten to an 8 to 3 scenario, we've got our pre-Ks there. It has 7.5 hours. Well, if you calculate the start time that they normally would, I think around 7:30, that puts them right at 3. The minute that they're released, they're out. And we all know that there's probably a little bit of time lapse how they put in. I don't know if that should be adjusted another half hour or something like that to help them out. I don't know, Mr. Hawk, what your,
If we are able to do that, I think it'd be very helpful.
I mean, it just makes sense that you ask somebody to load up and you're done. And you don't get paid for anything more than putting them on.
I can change that in the job description.
Okay.
Make that 8 hours instead of 7.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I have a question on the employment of certified staff. Do we know how many years teaching experience each of the 4 teachers we're hiring in?
Now that the administrators.
My 2 teachers, one is freshly graduated from Purdue, so this is her first year of teaching. The other one has worked as a substitute, she's in the transition to teaching program, so this is also her first year of teaching.
At the middle school, the health teacher has 16 years experience. 16. Yep. She took a job with Pike Township Fire Department to educate their firemen. So she's been doing education for, I forget what she said, 20, do you remember, I don't know if Brandon remembers or not, 29 or 28 years. So she kind of made a joke that we're getting her for a deal, because she's been doing education longer than that, so the 16 years of experience. And then the social studies would be a first year teacher.
So you say the health actually 16 years in student education.
Student education, yes, but she's been in education her entire career.
A lot of it was in Illinois, by the way. So it's not,
The middle school teacher transitioned to teaching as well then?
Yes, yeah.
I'd like to have, Tim, I believe you accepted the motion here. I think we need to pull out Brandon Short on that one, so Leo does not have to abstain from this vote. I did miss that. So we need to pull that out.
That's under
C1.
C1. Okay. So I move that we approve routine matters A through F with the exception of C1 involving.
I just have one question for Mr. Dennison. Is any of this fundraiser money, are you still planning on a trip to Florida? One of these?
We are, we
next 2 years?
haven't decided, we're gonna travel again in 2025, so we're still 2 years out from our big trips that we normally take.
Okay.
So this is just in getting kids the funds that they're gonna need, right? And that they are aware of that, we're going through that process now of picking a destination, and figuring out where we wanna go.
Thank you.
Yeah, I still need a second on.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All right, so now that that is clear, any other input on 4A through F minus C1? Okay, moving forward with routine matters, 4A through F minus C1, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, so double back, 4A, routine matters, C1, what I'd like to do is get a motion to hire Brandon Short for the DCSE Technology Director.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to hire Brendan Short for the DSCS Technology Director for $70,200. After 1 year of successful evaluation, of $5,000 will be added to his base. This is a 260-day per year contract, starting May 1, 2023.
Need a second. Any discussion on that?
So this will be that they, Scott Years.
Yeah, this will be a replacement for Scott.
although he's irreplaceable.
Yeah. Somebody can always replace you.
Okay, all in favor of 4C1, hiring of Brandon Short as the DCSE Technology Director, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
Brandon, you wanna come up here so we can see your face?
Brandon, we'd like to introduce you to everyone. All right, welcome aboard. Tell us something exciting you're looking forward to
Right question. Yeah, there's a lot of exciting things happening already. I've only been here, this is day 6, so it's already been happening very quickly, and there's a lot of things this summer and for next year, so I'm excited to get rolling and get it all ready.
Awesome. We appreciate you and thank you.
Dedicated, he came back from his honeymoon and started the next day.
Okay, moving forward to number 5, new business.
Yeah. We can't count six.
Okay, all right, new business, I need a motion for 5A, the hiring of summer school teachers.
I move we approve, 5A, the hiring of some school teachers, as presented in the work ethic.
Second.
All right, any discussion on the teachers presented here?
I was glad to see them get $40 an hour. I remember 40 years ago, they had $8 or $9 an hour. I'd like to see that moving in the right direction.
Yes, I was gonna say that. This is based on enrollment, so if we don't have the enrollment, then we will not be hiring them.
Okay. So only if the class makes enrollment will these people be hired, okay? Any other input?
At the elementary, is that, I saw on there, was the high school had a minimum of 15 students? Is that for even
That should be
elementary?
for everyone, except special education, that's a different piece. But usually PE carries us, for PE and health, because we have tons of kids who are out at the high school. So it kind of averages it out.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor of, new business 5A, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. 5B, can I get a motion to, talk about the student handbooks? Okay, in the work session, we were provided, handbooks for all the schools. Are there any questions on those? Okay, all in favor of 5B, the student handbook, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Also, 5C, I would like to get a motion for the textbook and consumable fees, the 2023 through 2024 school year.
So moved.
Okay, any discussion on the textbooks as presented in the work session? We do have one person that would like to speak. Actually, each person is only allowed to speak about one item on the agenda. Looks like Pat Cole would like to potentially speak about the textbooks, or would you like to?
I can send an email, so.
Okay, that's fine. And I think that's all that we have on that. So with that being said, on the textbooks and consumable fees, all in favor for the 2023-24 school year, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and then 5D, we have textbook adoption. So I can get a motion for the textbook adoption of the science and health textbook. Okay, any discussion on the textbook adoption as presented?
We'll get any public feedback.
And one person asked to come see them, but then they
And they've been on display up at the corporation office for quite a while.
yes, Charlie has,
I got a compliment from her for looking through at least one of them, so. All right, textbook adoption, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Also from the work session prior to the meeting, 5E, the Neola policy. So we've went through, all of these, with the changes that minor changes that occurred basically that were recommended. So on those, Neola policies, E1 through 13, I would like a motion to approve.
Mr. President, I move to, accept the Neola policies, updates, and changes that are required.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, obviously we discussed these during the work session. Is there any other input on this? All right, all in favor of accepting 5E, the Neola policies, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, 5F, the Delphi Community School Corporation Fine Arts Pathway. Can I get a motion for this program?
So moved.
Second.
Anything else that we need to input on this, other than what Jay?
No, just, I know, pathway to graduation.
Okay. So,